Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Lume Plotters.
Yes, back again, as always. Very punctually, usually, right? Every Tuesday night, UAE time, at 5 p.m., we have a new episode. It's so nice. It's nice when people are reliable and responsible like us.
Yes.
Right? You could set your watch by it.
Totally.
Absolutely.
It's always happening. And if it's not happening, then
we're dead.
Will. Or as I'm paying with my credit card for the hosting of the podcast, and I realized
you ran out of money.
No, not of money, but whenever, I don't know, it's at least once a year, somehow my credit card gets fraudulent activities, and then it needs to be replaced. And I
forget to update the new number
exactly
system.
In all of these things, and then suddenly it says like, "Oh, all of your podcasts are not anymore available," and you think, no, what happened? Yeah.
Then we move to YouTube and create YouTube videos, which, by the way, speaking of YouTube, we've been getting comments on YouTube, right?
Yes,
and
it's the easiest way to comment. So it's really nice there. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes, I was going to say this exact same thing, except the opposite. YouTube hides all of these comments so ridiculously. So essentially,
what do you mean they hide?
You would think I'll go through it. In Instagram, for instance, you sent me a message. It will, unless you're a spammy account, right? Most of the time it goes to a holding cell, right? And then in the holding cell, I'll get a notification saying, oh, somebody has sent you a message. Sometimes the people end up in spam, and that's what takes a little bit longer to get back to. But generally, even the spam I'm checking regularly, right? Because it's there. But there's no such thing in YouTube. You have to physically go. Because I'm on my iPhone here, right? I have to go to the YouTube app, and then I have to switch my profile from my personal to the Lume Plotters one. And then there's nothing. There's no here you go. Maybe you'd be interested in all the people that commented on your stuff. No. The activity account, activity bell only tells you if something's been uploaded, right?
No.
So then,
Martin.
Maybe if there's another way, you guys can tell me. But otherwise, hold on. I'm saying how I do it. Then I have to go to the video list, and I have to go look at all the videos with comments, and I have to see, okay, well, this one is new and has 2 comments, so I should go look at that one, and then go to that one, and then I see what the comment is, and then I have to respond to the comment. It's not nice. So if there is a nicer way, please let me know.
Okay. Do you use YouTube Studio?
No. You mean on the YouTube app?
Yeah, let me share my screen. If you allow me to share my screen,
but that's on the computer. I know YouTube Studio on the computer, but I'm never on the computer. I'm always on the iPhone. The issue is on the iPhone.
No, it's not an issue. You go to the app called YouTube Studio on your iPhone.
I didn't know there was an app called YouTube Studio.
Well, that is up to you. You're a creator. You need to know. And there, of course, you have your filters. You just click on community, right? And you have a filter set up for all comments you haven't responded to, and then you see from all of the different videos. You can see that.
Found this on the.
So, just for the record, Martin is our social media manager.
I suck at it too. I'm terrible. Ralph's the hosting guy, and I'm the social media guy. Who gave these roles? No one knows. Where this came from?
It just happened.
No idea. It's just one day that's what happened. And the thing is, I'm not particularly good at social media, but nonetheless, I got stuck in this role. And people keep asking us, why don't you make more live videos? It's because we suck at it. That's why. We could barely put a podcast together, and you guys want us to make videos? I think it's asking a little bit much of us. But frankly, I think the ones that we do with our guests, those we will publish from here on out, because I think it's fair that you guys see the guest and how we interact with the guest. But, me and Ralph here, nobody wants to see that.
No.
And even if you do, you just think you do until you actually see it. And then you say, no, take it away. Like the time that the Andrew Morgan guy decided to show his face.
You
like the time the ID guy decided to show his face. I want to go back. I liked it before that.
See, I'm always listening to these guys anyways on my dog walkies. So that means I don't see their faces either. I just listen to it.
Well,
You know?
I think a lot of this was better without. But before
I don't
they show
understand
the, I don't know why.
why you think so. I mean,
I don't either.
mm,
I have no idea, but I do know that essentially when I started, I really liked ID Guy and the way he did everything. I like listening to his voice. And I think the reason is I don't think there is a match between the voice and the person. So in my head, I've already built up what this guy looks like. And then you give me something else and it's not what it looks like in my head. Therefore, it just doesn't compute. This is what in the scientific community we call cognitive dissonance.
yes.
It just doesn't make sense, right? Because two things are a mismatch. It's like when I saw, I read the Dan Brown books and then they made the movies and they made Tom Hanks as Robert Langdon. And I'm like, no, that's not what he looks like. That's not who he should be. This is terrible. And this is the same thing I think I'm feeling with ID Guy and Andrew Morgan is it just doesn't click. I liked it when I was just looking at the watch.
Yeah, with the cognitive, I mean, if it comes to movies, I think the best one or the best example is Jack Reacher and Tom Cruise being the first.
Oh, I thought you were saying Jack Reacher and the show because the guy with the giant, he's awesome. I love it.
That is exactly the Jack Reacher as you imagine him when reading the books, right? 6 foot, built like a tank, right?
Essentially, yeah.
And then when the first movie came out, and it was just, wait a second, you can't put a 1.55 meter person as Jack Reacher. That doesn't work. You can't be 5 foot. You have to be
no, and also, by the way, whoever they put, Jack Reacher's character is like highly autistic, right? Like, this by the character, the way he interacts with people, the way he talks, the way he does everything. He has essentially like this kind of no regard. And Tom Cruise is not that at all. And then the guy whose name I don't know, who played Jack Reacher in the Amazon series, he pulled this off brilliantly.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
It just is this deadness in the eye, right? Like somebody dies and he just goes on brushing his teeth or something, right? It just doesn't faze him, and that's what Jack Reacher should be.
His name is Alan Richson. Alan Richson. Yeah.
Alan Richson, is that really it?
Yeah.
I knew him from an old
TV
show called Blue Mountain State. And he was hilarious in Blue Mountain State. He played a very dumb football player, American football player.
That, yeah.
And his name was Thad. And they said, why is your name Thad? And he said, well, my name was Chad, but I had a very bad lisp. So everybody started calling me Thad. So it was a funny show.
Yeah, I think Tom Hanks, Mission Impossible and Collateral and all of this stuff. Yeah, Tom Cruise. What did I say? Tom Hanks. Oh, okay, yeah. No, Tom Cruise, of course. He can play fantastic action heroes, but just not Jack Reacher. That's just not good casting. This is just weird.
Yeah.
Okay, what else is bad casting? If you create a watch that is not
that doesn't go with the vibe
standards
of that certain things, I think absolutely that could be considered bad casting. There's tons of examples of this, right? When you see something and you're like, my most famous thing is the Panerai Dua. The Dua, the 30-meter water resistance. That is bad casting. Why are you making a non-water resistant watch in the image of a dive watch?
Yeah. So I have a problem with that because I like them. The design is lovely. I think the size is great.
The design of the Panerai Luminor, of course, it's lovely.
Yeah, of course.
The Luminor.
It's lovely and it's looking good and it's the right size. But then the bloody water resistance is like you can't make a full. The whole clasp thing, the crown protector device that they have. And then only have 30 millimeters of water resistance. It's basically a screw down crown. In other words, not really screw down, but it's like a crown protector device.
A locking crown.
Yeah. And I think Panerai has heard this loud and clear. Then the new version that just came out, and that's great. It's a fantastic segue. Thank you for mentioning it. If we look at the new Panerai Luminor Marina that came out, and I had the previous model range, and that was a bit thick, right? 44 millimeters, but pretty thick. Now they came out with the new Marina. It's thinner. And guess what they have done with the water resistance? They made it thinner, and they have
it went
it.
down. They
No,
upped it.
upped it
Oh, I
to
thought they would go down.
500 meters instead
Okay.
of 300. It was before 300, and now it's 500. And I think this is exactly what they need to do. That's Panerai, right?
Yeah. So by the way, I really do like Panerai, and it really bugs me how big they are because I can't pull them off ever. But I love the design style. I love the history. I love a lot of things about it.
Yeah.
And you can get them on the secondhand market for such a good deal once in a while.
Yeah.
But
and
it's just, they can't pull it off.
But they have, even for the Duo, they have now put the water resistance up, right? To
50.
50 meters.
Yeah. Which is still, my Speedy
It's still,
is 50 meters.
It's still not great, but it's,
No,
and they
it's
call it the
stupid.
device protecting the crown.
Very.
Yeah.
Il
Anyhow.
diviso, il meccanico di crauno. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. but I mean, if you look at these, the
Italians.
Luminor Due Luna Rossa, for example, the white one with the white strap and the red stripe on it, it's just so cool. They are just, the design is just so, it's lovely. I think these watches are just.
And by the way, I've heard a lot of things about Panerai.
I need one back.
Recently, and stuff that I didn't know. I don't know why I've been diving into Panerai recently, but I have. And for instance, everybody knows, or I guess a lot of people know, that Panerai started with Rolex movements and Rolex cases.
Yeah.
Right? However, Rolex didn't know that Panerai started with Rolex cases and Rolex movements. Apparently, they didn't let Rolex know that what they were doing. They didn't let Rolex know that they were, essentially manufacturing and selling these watches.
Really?
Rolex at the beginning had no idea. They just thought they were supplying some parts.
Right, yeah,
So-
cases and movements, right?
Cases
and was
and movements.
pocket
They
watch
made their
movements
own
at the time.
dials, I think. They made their own dials, and they were really, really crappy at the beginning, right? Very basic, like brown and black dials. But they that's what Panerai is still known for, right? But apparently, at the very beginning, Rolex did not know that this was happening. And when they
Amazing.
found out, they were apparently pretty pissed,
Oh,
which is kind of cool. And I like that. Apparently, the other guys, we do this. Who cares? And then they just do it. And
for
Rolex
these few watches that they produced at the time. I mean, it was mostly for military, right? And then for when they even started selling it to normal people.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know which part of it Rolex didn't know, but apparently when they found out that these watches were, I don't know if they were just upset that they weren't given credit and that Panerai was selling them under their own name, or I don't know what particularly was upsetting them.
Good question. Good question.
Because
I'm not
remember,
so sure about
nowhere
that, no.
was Rolex written except for the movement.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Movement and the movement you can't see, right? So it's just,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the case, and you don't want Rolex as Rolex, you don't want to have co-branding when you don't even know the final result, right? So obviously, it's not too bad to leave it away, but yeah. So on other notes, did you look at? I mean, I know it's a brand that only produces 7,000 watches, and it's not Moser, it's Ulysse Nardin. They have created a new watch that I want to talk to you about because
Do we have to?
Yes, because it is a nice, how do you say, skeletonized watch, and it's called the Diver Air because it's 80% air, and they say that because it's so nicely skeletonized. Can I share my screen? Then you can see it as well.
Sure.
You need to just let me, because you're the organizer. Yeah. And thankfully, my dog is digging a hole in his bed. Okay. So eventually I can share once you allow me to. Martin is very focused. Just for the listeners who think,
Where is the
what's
sharing? God, I hate Microsoft. Oh my God.
I live
there
in it.
you
It's
go.
my
I
life.
hate Microsoft.
It's my life.
No, I sent Ralph a very funny meme, and it was a lady, and she was like what it is like working in Microsoft Word. And she like
moving an image.
moved like a little plate from 1 inch to to the left, and the whole room changed.
Yeah, she's in a room and she changes a small piece of and the entirety changes the
Like it actually flips upside down. So if you've ever tried to move a picture, right, in Word, everything just snaps to some point. And anyway, Microsoft, great stuff.
Microsoft. Yeah, so here, this is the Diver Air that you see, the world's lightest mechanical dive watch, apparently. It's super, super duper light, and it's so skeletonized, there's hardly anything in it. It is incredible of how you can remove so much from a watch, I feel, and it still works. And it's, I think it's even automatic. It even has a rotor. You don't even see that it's a rotor here. It's pretty incredible, I think. What do you think?
I'm zooming in a little bit here. You can see the rotor a little bit. I don't like it.
I mean, look, as far as divers go, I think
as far as Ulysse Nardin goes, this is actually not terrible.
No, I think
they've made much worse stuff.
Yeah, I think it has a bit of these Roger Dubois vibes, a bit, right, with the skeletonized watches that they had for a while. I love this Apple-style Velcro. Right, they have this Velcro band,
which I think it's nice.
It's nice. I mean, obviously, that is a watch that costs $40,000.
So why not put it on a Velcro strap?
Exactly. And that strap is, I mean, I don't actually know how much it weighs, because it must be very, very light, because they say 80% air. So let's see, technical data, and we'll have a look and see 52 grams.
Meanwhile,
including the straps.
Just to put it in a perspective, an RM is around 35 grams.
Which RM? 35 grams.
Thank you for that segue. Did you see?
Which?
This is what we're going for.
Yeah.
Did you see? Last weekend was Paris-Roubaix, which is a very famous cycling race, and famously, it's known for its cobbled roads and cobbled sections. Tadej Pogacar, who is of course the GOAT of cycling at the moment, for the first time in his career, not his adult career, I guess I would say. As a junior, he raced it once, but as an adult, he now decided to take on Paris-Roubaix. He rides for UAE Team Emirates and is sponsored by none other than Richard Mille. He was wearing his RM whatever, which is claimed to weigh 34 grams in this race, right? Because obviously cycling is all about weight reduction and so forth. You could put in Tadej Pogacar and put in Roubaix. If you put it in, you'll see what I'm talking about. Because I don't know which Roubaix. BAIX. And put in Tadej Pogacar, Richard Mille. And it will take you to the picture I'm talking about.
Is that with his bloody hand?
The blood dripping down?
Something
the blood
like
dripping down on his arm. Essentially, he wore the, there you go. His watch rubbed his wrist bloody from the cobblestones.
Oh.
So it's absolutely disgusting.
Right.
And this, whatever Richard Mille model is, 34 grams. And apparently that is what 290 kilometers of riding, plus I don't even know how many kilometers of pave it was.
Wow, yeah.
That's what happened.
That looks nasty, but yeah, look, that's, if you have, obviously, if you have your hands like this and you have this scratching the whole time, it's probably not very painful in the beginning, but eventually it starts bleeding and then it hurts. Poor him, but obviously...
poor him, his Richard Mille scratched his wrist up.
Yeah, he got a scratch on his wrist. Poor him.
No, he also took a bit of a tumble as well. But apparently everyone is saying that was separate. It was a separate incident.
I don't know. Look,
so,
these Richard Milles is, we can make fun of them as much as we like, that they are crypto bros only and weird people buying these watches.
Yeah, but they're functionally amazing. I know. I hate to hate it. I hate to like them.
Well-made watches.
This shows you they are.
And then, I'm sorry,
Yeah, take any other watch on this kind of tortured and it's not going to work, right? So
Yeah.
it's insane how much vibration you get from this.
And the orological value behind them, and I know people will kill me for that, but there is absolutely something in it. These guys are making high-end orology. I mean, these are really good movements. These things are created in very small quantities, and of course, with very high complications, either super light or super skeletonized or super. I don't know what else they do for 15 days of power reserve. All of this stuff that they had over time, these different things that they built into their watches, whatever it might be, they have always pushed the envelope to a certain extent with what they could do. Obviously, you pay dearly for it, but
yes, I've tried a couple on in my day, and I was never, they never spoke to me. That's for sure.
Yeah, no,
but,
I mean, look,
whatever.
I also
I'm not the one
think
buying
that,
it either, right?
A person recently told me, it's like, you run a podcast, you must get all of these press watches, people sending you watches for free, so you review them on your podcast. And I said, you have no idea. Literally, I mean, we haven't asked for anything, obviously, because we are way too proud to do that.
Yes, I know we have such a large audience, and it's a shame,
Sponsors. No,
we are independent. We're independent journalists.
Absolutely, and we are so valuing our independence that we can say whatever we want on our podcast. That we are not taking any handouts here.
But if Richard Mille wants to send us a watch, we'll happily share it.
Yeah. We could wear it for a while and then see how,
we'll put it through torture
our
tests.
Perspective changes as well, to say like, oh my God, suddenly I am such a happy person. Yeah, I could put it to the torture of a day of MS Teams meetings.
And I will wear it as the proud teacher that I am. I'm sure my students would love it.
Oh,
they would say, "What the hell kind of fake watch is this guy wearing?"
Or, I mean, that could also be detrimental to the popularity, of course. If the teacher, which is usually one generation higher than the students, at least, if not 2 or 3, then it's not anymore cool.
Yeah, but the thing is, I guess you're right, because my student was the one with the Richard Mille that I tried on last time.
See.
Yeah.
You need,
so. But this is once again students in the UAE, right? This is not this is roughly the equivalent of a Swiss boarding school, I think.
Yeah.
In the types of watches that I see in my classrooms.
Yeah, imagine. I mean, look, in Germany, some of my friends recently said, look, I'm going in somebody had a Patek something, a Nautilus or something, and he went in, on a train, went to a whatever appointment somewhere, and he said like, I'm taking the train to whatever, Munich or something, or to Cologne and whatever. And then people said, you have to walk out of the main train station and walk through dodgy areas and all of this stuff. So beware with that kind of a watch on your arm. And I thought, really? Is that so? I mean, apparently it is in certain areas, sometimes, even in places like Germany, which is generally very safe. But imagine here where students go to school with a $250,000 watch on their wrist. That is insane. I mean, in any other place, I mean, look, think about all of these movies that we have watched, the school bully, that steals the lunch money from people that we see in the TVs and in the American movies mostly, right? And then imagine here. So imagine there's a school bully that just says, okay, give me a watch for lunch.
I'd be okay. I mean,
wouldn't happen.
Unfortunately, it wouldn't fly. I would be on the first plane out of here if I took that watch. It might be worth it. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. No, here is everything is safe. It's very good.
You have to plan ahead on this. This is a heist level thing, right? This is not just I'm going to bully you out of $250,000 dirhams. This is definitely more of a thing. Anyway, back to our original thing. This was a 25-minute detour. Back to YouTube comments.
Yes.
I love how quickly we detour. There was 2 very great comments as I was looking through, and now I downloaded this app, so hopefully I will find the comments much easier now.
Yeah.
One comment which if I try to log in, it's going to take forever, but I don't remember who said it, but it was a great comment. Somebody commented that through listening to our podcast, they have now learned the exchange rate between dirhams and dollars.
Aww.
And I think that's great, right? We've taught somebody something.
Yes.
It's funny because we always, kind of are back and forth between dirhams and dollars. And I guess if you're paying attention, you have to kind of understand what we're talking about. So it's funny that somebody actually wrote that.
The absolute killer, of course, is that the exchange rate is fixed. So you only need to look it up once in your life. Because it's pegged to the US dollar.
I commented this back, that it is a fixed exchange rate. So it will always be this 1 to 3.7, blah, 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 blah. Now, the other comment on that, if you do find this, by the way, if you do find this comment, then you will... you can say who it was while you look. I'll read the other comment.
I will check.
A gentleman named, I think it's a gentleman. He didn't say if it was a man or a woman, but I'm assuming, named Chublaka, said, I have listened to all of your podcasts many times, listened again. And he says, he was the one that said we should do more videos. He said that we will see a big uplift. And yes, I understand. He does say he's from Hong Kong and his favorite watch is the Vacheron Overseas. Random aside. But nonetheless, as we said, yes, these video ideas would be great. Unfortunately, I think all it would be is us recording ourselves on Teams 99.9% of the time. And I mean, is it worth it? I don't know. Because right now, I think you listen to our voices. And as Ralph said, most of these people aren't sitting in front of a screen for an hour. Yeah, they're most likely at work, they're driving, they're doing something. And that just makes it a little bit easier, right?
Asleep to my soothing voice.
Yeah. So for instance,
you know what? My problem with that is now, as you can see here in my little studio setup, which is not a studio setup. So I have a virtual background, which is my work sponsored virtual background, which I still have on that computer for whatever reason. But anyhow, so my point is, I have a microphone in the view. I wouldn't do that if we were on video. I don't do this if I have customer calls, for example. I have, of course, a different setup. I don't put the big headphones on. This is good for audio quality, for making sure that everything sounds good when I'm recording a podcast. But if I have to do video, then I have to, put my makeup on and all of these things.
Yes. And meanwhile, I'm in my office as well. I'm at university here in my office.
Yeah, you're spending
lighting
your lunch
sucks,
break right
everything
now
sucks. I'm having my coffee. And although sometimes when we do these recordings, I do forget that the camera is on, right? So in those cases, I don't really care. I don't care either way, but it's just... It's significantly more work is what we've realized.
You want to protect the people from the Andrew Morgan and ID guy moment to see us and think, oh, no.
And I want them to look forward to when they see us. So when they see us with a guest, you will get a chance. If it's a special episode, we'll make it a video. But these random Tuesday videos, I mean, once again, I had a kind of a negative impression when, what was it, About Effing Time, with their podcast. And I told this to them when I met them at Dubai Watch Week. The issue is I don't have often an hour and a half to sit and watch a podcast, right? I can listen to it, but I won't watch it.
Yes.
But they kept on wanting to make it a video medium. And for that reason, they were always like showing things and not talking about it.
But they had
I think we've gotten pretty good at talking about and explaining what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I would like to think. But that if there's a better medium, I would shift towards the better medium, right? So if I have an option of video or podcast, I would want to watch the video, but then I wouldn't have time to watch the video and then I'd fall very far behind and then that'd be an issue. So podcast is just such a friendly medium in terms of not having it as a primary source of entertainment, but it's kind of a secondary.
Yeah, I think some of the things what we could actually do this the next time when we do with a guest or so. We do that. We could live stream this
Okay.
while we record, right?
Yeah, but the issue is
remote.
then live stream here versus live stream in somewhere else. The timing becomes an issue.
Yeah, of course. We don't want a time when nobody can watch it, obviously.
Because when we record, it's 2 p.m. on a Tuesday we're recording. Imagine live streaming this. Nobody would watch.
But maybe
it's going to be
hundreds of
nobody.
people watch. I mean, I did a live stream last week with Harry Liebling. It's an Austrian watch influencer in German, obviously that was. So that was quite interesting. We had 200 people, I think, watching at the time. And then, yeah, it's quite nice to have the live interaction with other people in the chat and all of this stuff. But it's draining. You have to get a lot of technology working, that everything works well. Then you
half
also
the time Teams doesn't work, and like this is the issue. The last couple of times that we've recorded on Teams,
we wouldn't do that on
it's
Teams.
skipping
then.
and
we
stuff.
have to use StreamYard, and we need to have another subscription for it. Then we need to have this and that, and then we need to. It is not easy. A lot of things can go wrong. So yeah, bear with us. We might do more video things when it becomes.
I'm sure we will, but it's not going to be every video. Yeah. It becomes time consuming.
You don't have. Look, I can use all of my camera gear for actual live videos, right? Because I have the cameras.
Does my Leica even do videos?
No, I think you can record videos, but you can't live. I mean, at least my
no, we can't live stream. God no,
Deluxe, you cannot use it as a webcam or anything like that. So that's impossible. But all my Sonys can do that, right? Either via HDMI out and with an HDMI capture card, or just these devices where you can just plug them in. Or just direct, because they actually support that via USB-C. That you can use.
I don't even think my Leica has any ports, to be honest, because you can't charge it.
So
I think there might be a USB, and that's it.
Wait a second. I think mine. Oops. Okay, has a port somewhere. Okay. Yes, it has a USB-C port, and it has what is that? I think it's a micro HDMI port, but it doesn't put out any live video from it. If it would, I could use it as a capture card, right? The only thing I can do with the micro HDMI card is actual view in the play mode, have, show images that I took. That's it. It's very sad.
I'm reading up on my camera now.
Allowing this to do that.
And it says that I have an HDMI port somewhere, but I don't remember where.
Me too. But it doesn't do anything except playing back.
Yeah, as you said,
things,
play out.
Not live. So it's a bit sad.
It's such a beautiful camera, though. The Leica Q, they really got that one right. I'm just looking at pictures of my camera now.
So a friend of mine just bought a limited UAE edition M11.
What makes that the UAE edition?
I don't know. It's a special limited edition. The design is leather. I have no idea. Maybe it's something special. Let me check.
I'm looking already. I'm there.
And he has
M11 UAE edition sold out.
Yes, exactly. That's why I bought it. He was there to buy a Q9. Is it Q9? Q3? Q3. Sorry,
Q3, yeah.
Q3 M43 or something.
I don't know what's UAE about this.
Yeah, I don't know either. But it's usually these kind of things are, like money in the bank. You probably have no problem selling this at any time for the same price you bought it, or even for a premium.
The only thing is, it says, so it's all black body with silver knobs, and which I never like, by the way, when they do silver knobs with all black bodies. Some earlier Leica Qs did that. It looks ugly, in my opinion. I think it should be all silver, all black. And then at the top, it says Leica camera Dubai UAE.
Did you see what I did here on my camera?
Because I was looking at the other thing. All I see is your stupid Patek Cubitus that you put up here because you asked to share your screen.
No, on my camera.
Never actually used
on my
it.
camera. On my camera.
How am I supposed to see that? It's literally the size of a fingernail.
See this little red one? I bought
Ralph,
a red
you're sharing your
button.
screen.
Yeah,
You're
but
sharing
you still
your
have.
screen.
Yes. Then click on view, and then you can also see the speakers.
Oh, I didn't know.
My
Once again, thank you,
God.
Microsoft. All right, now show me. Now show me
So
what you're talking about.
here is my little red button. So the cool thing about these cameras is that you have accessories. Lots of accessories, right?
You got the
Leica.
red button. I didn't get the red
I
button.
bought this little red button, not original though. I bought it from
Eesh.
TR.
Oof.
I bought it from,
Oh.
and also my grip, right? I have this
Ew, gross.
dark
Ugh.
wood, black real wood. I think it's cherry wood or something. It's a wood grip with a plate underneath. Fits like a glove. It's super cool, and it's really elevates the camera because you suddenly have a grip. Because before,
Yeah, but the issue is it makes the camera bigger. That was
yes,
my
and
problem.
heavier, and it's already
heavier.
heavy.
And I like yours is fairly small. Mine, the Q is not that small. But when you put the grip on it, it was just it threw it off. So there's the thumb grip that I have, but I rarely use because the thumb grip takes the hot shoe away.
Yeah.
And I have a flash. So sometimes I use the flash. I don't want to deal with two different grips, right? So if I were to put the flash on, then I have to then
Yeah, and this is the challenge with sometimes the grips that you can't open the battery door or whatever. But this one is really well designed. It has big enough. You can actually access everything, and you have another screw in for a tripod or whatever if you want to. So that is really cool. But I'm this Deluxe 8. I'm always surprised of how slow everything is. Right? I mean, menu is fine, but just from how many. If I want to full raw resolution, the bit depth and all of this stuff for this camera, you know how many shots I can maximum take? How many frames per second I can do? Give it a guess.
3.
2.
2. Do you remember what mine was?
You know, this camera has a UHS 2 SD card slot.
I don't think that's what
makes zero sense.
So mine, so I do have you have the option of electronic shutter as well in yours?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, I think so.
So remember, mine is the Q1, the 116.
Right.
And what do we call this? Not max shutter. What is this called?
Frames per second. So the maximum frames per second that you can make in photo shooting, obviously not in video.
Yes, exactly. So I have 10.
Wow.
On my Leica Q116. So which is not bad.
Is not bad.
But I am guessing this is with the electronic shutter.
It's funny. Sometimes, for example, my Sony A7R5 does the highest frame rate with the mechanical shutter. Strangely enough.
It could be. And then the Q2 went up to 30 frames per second. And now they're on the Q3. Yeah. So it's significant upgrades. But once again, I'm full frame. I'm shooting pure raw. I'm not shooting joint, right? So you can, and oftentimes if you're shooting in two different modes simultaneously, like JPEG plus raw, that will significantly slow you down.
Yeah, for sure. Because you need to read out, then compress, then save 2 files.
But anyway, I've never. How many times? This is. I saw a video today. This was for some movie, a clip or a show or something, and there was 2 guys, and one guy goes. There were 2 photographers at like a press conference, and one guy goes to the other one, "What are you shooting with?" And he goes, "I got the Canon 5D." And then the guy goes, "I have the 1D. Why don't you have a 1D?" And the guy responds, he goes, "Are you shooting high rates of speed? Are you shooting sports? Are you shooting birds flying out of the water?" They're sitting at like, a presidential conference kind of like setup. And he's like, "No, but I can." So this is kind of what photography is, right? It's entirely this, like, I have a higher shutter count than you. And at the end, I've never even tried.
I totally agree with you. I had this experience in photography forums, right? They are people that are gearheads, and to a very high extreme. They know everything about the corner sharpness of every lens and everything else. And then if you ask them, show me a picture that you took, Either there's nothing coming out of them because they don't actually really do photography, or it is just horrendous that you could probably take with a point and shoot better pictures from an artistic point of view, right? So if give a Barbie camera to a professional photographer.
Oh, they have this, by the way. Have you seen these videos?
The Digital Rev has
You saw
done
this?
that all
Digital
the time.
Rev used to do this.
This
this was back in the day with Kai, right?
Yes, of course.
Kai used to do this.
Yeah.
And Locke, I never understood a word he said, by the way. I'm like, what?
I got an ear for him eventually.
But Kai, he would do this. He would he's like, here's a freaking Lego camera. And he would give it to a professional photographer at a skate park and say, shoot some stuff.
Yeah.
And it was amazing what they could do.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely true. You
Give
have
them
to have some
limitations
understanding of
and they
photography in order to shoot some decent pictures.
Yeah. That understanding and also just the eye for things that you can, just do, and you work with your limitations, right? So it's not necessarily working against you. Sometimes it can work in your favor. And that's why I think sometimes my Leica makes me more deliberate, because I cannot just whip it out and take a picture. I sometimes have to make sure that I have the right settings, that I think about it, what I want to do, and then take the picture. So it's a bit more deliberate. It slows you down.
It is. And then, but here's the thing is, okay, obviously, guys, this is no longer a watch podcast. So
it's a photography.
But nonetheless, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So I used to have the Nikon, right, the D810, which I would take a number of lenses and I'd go out and I'd come back, let's say after a week-long trip, and I would have to go through maybe 500 pictures. And out of the 500 pictures, maybe I would really, really like 10, right? That was roughly where I was. But I'd take a whole bunch of pictures. With the Leica, I just came back from a week-long trip. I came back with 50 pictures. Out of the 50 pictures, half of them I liked. So the percentage of actual kept pictures versus discarded went from being like 2% to nearly 50%. Because as you say, now we take the Leica out, we compose, we look at it, and it's just such a different experience than shooting with something that's, because it's much more mechanical than even, it's ironic because the Nikon was more mechanical than the Leica, but the feel is different. And people are saying, if you look at our good friend Mahmoud, who shoots with his Leica M10, I think he has, or 11, he specifically says now, he had the Q, he sold the Q to get the M11, and he says it slows him down even more then, because now you don't have autofocus. All you have is the viewfinder, the rangefinder, right? So you're sitting there kind of for a good minute to take each picture, kind of composing, which of course is going to be a huge difference. But we romanticize this idea of that.
Yeah. So for me, for wildlife, that's my main photography. It's obviously you need to have, decent amount of speed as well, right? So because you do take a lot of pictures, because you will just mess things up, and then you need to sort out a lot. So I think 1/4 of my images is maximum I would keep, probably even less, because you just shoot a lot and you sort it out later, right? Because it's what you do right now at the moment, right? But
and with the Leica,
especially for wildlife, you couldn't do it any other way, because there's animals that you need to take the shot right now. You cannot wait for the animal to stay exactly as you want it to, and then fiddle out around with your camera. So you have to be very quick with certain things to get the shot. But I think everything else, it is taking photos rather than, just taking a shot. It's, or snapping. It's like how do you say that? I think the colloquial term of snapping pictures, right? This is not snapping pictures. This is photography, right? Because you're actually trying to create something. That is just not, oh, look, that's a selfie. No, it's not. This is more.
It's a self-portrait. Yeah, exactly. There was another funny video that I saw. This is a guy who shoots on Sony, and he's a wildlife photographer. And he was complaining about, or he was bragging, but it was humble brag or whatever you want to call it. Not a humble brag, but a backhanded compliment about Sony's autofocus system.
Yes.
And he was essentially shooting two swans, doing that neck thing that makes the heart.
Right.
And he's like just shooting and shooting and shooting, right? Because the swans are getting closer and closer and closer. And he's like, look at this autofocus. He's zoomed in all the way. The eyes are perfectly clear. And they finally like cross their necks to make the heart. And the Sony thinks the butthole is the eye and refocuses so that the butts
because there was no
in.
eye anymore to see,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
So and then that's what it counted. And he says all of the autofocus, like even when like it was extremely hard to see, Sony found the eye, except for the one shot he wanted after all of this. So
see, and this is when you have back button focusing and you just don't have to actually continue pressing the button, right? You can just it's in focus, take a shot, right?
Yeah.
But anyhow, so you're absolutely right. It's sometimes it is after all AI and machine learning. So there are the algorithms getting, I mean,
they make mistakes.
I must say it is incredible of what it can do. But you have to also set it to the right way. I mean, I have it to animal and to bird, right? You can do it in a joint thing, but then it takes apparently just a
little bit
fraction of
longer,
a second
and then,
longer to first choose, is it a bird or is it an animal? And then do the algorithm for it. But when you set it, of course, I have a quick change button for it. So that I just changes between these two with a button. So that's easy. But still, sometimes you forget in the heat of the moment. You think that, why is it not finding them? But you have set it to bird. And then it just doesn't do anything on a lion, for example, right? And then you realize, oh, okay.
Yes. And there's so many times that you forget to switch your focus back or something stupid like this, right? So for instance, sometimes I will change if I want multiple things in the picture. I will set my auto because 90% of the time I'm doing one focus point. That's it, manual. And then I will switch back to multiple focus points. And then I will try to shoot something and it won't work. And there and back, I've had so many of these times where and then it takes me a minute to figure out what the hell's going on. So, but anyway, all right, let's talk about watches a little bit.
Exactly.
Because we have a few minutes
Sorry,
left.
guys, for this
yes, we apologize.
diatribe. But
what watch are you wearing?
Yeah.
We still haven't talked about what we're wearing.
Okay, I am.
It's a 48-minute
intro. Grand Seiko High Beat SBGJ 211 High Beat GMT mechanical.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yep.
So you're liking it still?
Yeah.
You're not tired of it yet?
No. I have now 2 Grand Seikos in my collection, and we discussed in the last episode, I think, right? Or in one of the last episodes, I think we did. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm very happy.
Which is quite funny because you made fun of me for having 2 Grand Seikos. And then I sold
and
both
now
of
I'm
them.
thinking of buying the third.
No, you're not.
Are
you really?
I
Which
thought
one?
Now I could actually be a proper collector and have a theme, right?
Grand Seiko's. It's a great theme, by the way. They have a lot of good watches.
GMT, all different movements. You know, like the big.
So you got to get a spring drive GMT.
Yeah, I need a
that would be a collection. So now
Then
you have every
it's a theme.
possibility of GMT. I like it.
I have a quartz. I have a mechanical high beat. And then a spring drive. And if I really want to push it, I can have a non-high beat mechanical. I could have a super high accuracy spring drive GMT. I could have technically
collecting those. That's
I could
not bad.
branch out. Yeah.
Meanwhile, I am here wearing my Tudor Black Bay 54 on my Grey NATO, which is ironically from the Grey NATO. Jason Heaton himself packed it and sent it to me.
Oy.
And then I ordered 2 and he only sent 1. And then I wrote him an email and I didn't want to bug him. So I just waited and he took a week to get back to me and he apologized and he sent out the other one, which is just, I got a message from Aramex right now that it arrived. Okay. But it's nice because it just has a little TGN on the bottom of the buckle.
TG and the Grey NATO.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool. And it is the Grey NATO. And I like that.
Talking about textile straps, I'm finding segues here, right? Did you see this new Patek 5328G with
on the denim strap?
Sailclothy thing here?
I thought it was like denim-y sailcloth.
Let me see what it says here. It's does it even say anything?
It doesn't matter what it says. It's what it is.
Textured blue dial and
a textured blue strap.
Fold. Well, why doesn't it say anything about it?
Well, above I saw it with a brown strap, so I don't know which strap it comes with.
The watch comes with 2 straps, one in blue calfskin with fabric pattern. Oh, so it's actually pretending to be a fabric. It's actually calfskin. See, I was thinking this is sailcloth or something, but it's not.
I don't like
leather.
it. I don't like the blue on blue. I much prefer that the beige strap that they're showing there.
Honey tan.
If you go up, they show the watch on that, and it looks very nice. Right there. Okay. Look how good that looks.
Yeah, but this is a nice color chava, manual wind. I like it.
I don't like the case profile. This what do you call it? The cloche? No, cloche. What's the word of this?
Hobnail, not hobnail.
Hobnail, but there's a word for it, right? Whatever. Clou de Paris. I don't like this Clou de Paris style side case. It's a little bit weird.
Yeah,
it's a little weird.
Yes, it is. I think I agree with you. It is a bit weird. I sort of like it, but yes, it is a bit of a weird one.
I like the dial. I like everything else.
On areas where you absolutely don't need it.
Yeah.
It's made like a tool, right? With like a certain screwdrivers and stuff have this kind of pattern for grip.
Pattern so you get a better grip, yeah.
And this is like on the most elegant watch in white gold. So you think, wait a second.
Yeah.
Also, these little push buttons to set things, right, in a watch that only has day and
a double,
date.
A moon face. No, it's the moon face.
No, it has... No, sorry. It has... it's not moon face. It has an 8-day power reserve. It has It has
day.
Oh, sorry. There is a day.
Day and a date. Date.
And what else? There's a running second, I guess, and there is a day as well. Okay.
No, where's the running second?
Hands,
up top?
2 hands here.
But what's up top?
2 hands on 6 o'clock. So
what's up top?
Power reserve.
Power reserve. Okay. Yeah. So, but generally with a date, if you have a day and a date, then yes, you have to have a pusher. Otherwise, an extra crown position. Once again, it's just Patek showing that
you don't have to. You can do in the first pull out first. Up is day. Down is date.
No, once again, even Seikos do this, right? Most Seiko 5s have a day and a date, and they don't care. It just shows you that Patek and AP and these guys are so far behind the time. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, sometimes you feel like really. I mean, on the other hand, they have good escapements and 8-day power reserve, and so they can do certain things really, really well. But look, and they have here the whole video of how they have managed the entire power reserve with 2 different barrels and all of this stuff. It's cool stuff, but yeah. So I was saying about disappointment. I was a bit disappointed. I mean, I was surprised by 2 things. How much I like this split second chronograph in rose gold. How much I appreciate that actually Patek made a sort of skeletonized dial. But then
this is similar to the Elongenzona dials, the honey gold or not honey gold. What do they call them? The Lumen dials. They call them Lumen.
But you know what I find extremely surprising? Because I thought about it and I saw that, okay, you now have a semi-translucent dial.
Yeah,
right?
Where you can see dial of some kind.
Some of the internals. But all of this thing, I mean, this, and at least it has a second hand. Other than that, I think was it the Lange & Söhne who has this, where you actually have this, and it doesn't have a second hand. I think one of these watches doesn't have a second hand, and it's sort of semi-translucent, and you can see all the innards, but they don't move. There's nothing to see. Because like a date or the moon phase, it changes once or twice a day. So there's nothing to see.
Well, you can always see the balance
but not
moving,
on the front.
Right?
Not on the front. So that's the weird thing with these ones. Yeah, so that's a bit... Anyhow, but what I found most disappointing is, and I made a mistake, I have to correct this, I thought the new blue Cubitus is the entry-level model. But I
No,
was mistaken.
the small cubituses, the cubiti, are only available in precious metal, which doesn't make any sense because this was supposed to be the entry-level line, and it's not. It's
all
only
rubbish.
available. So you have a bigger one in stainless, but then the little one, which should be the cheaper one, is only available in precious metal.
Precious metal. For now.
They're not making any sense.
I
And
think
not to
it's-
mention the amount of
yeah.
quartz crap that they launched is ridiculous.
You mean the smaller lady watches?
Yes, and
What's that?
this is the funny thing is I was listening to Britney Spears, and then she said, according to Patek, the way to a woman's heart is you quartzify it, you pinkify it, and you diamondify it, and you reduce the size.
Okay.
And those are the 4 things that Patek does with every single women's watch. They put a color like pink or light blue or whatever, turquoise. Then they put some diamonds on the bezel. Then they make it quartz, and then they make it smaller. And then that is their women's catalog.
Yeah. I see. I think to a certain extent, I mean, besides diamonds and besides the pinkification, I think quartz has its benefits. I think so. My wife hands me over the watch that she wants to wear in the morning and says, "Is it all right? Is it ticking? Is it?" I mean, she's sometimes picked up watches by pure luck that
And it's
actually
still
had the
ticking.
time that it was right now, but it wasn't set right. And
I
so
stopped
she's-
caring. My
I know,
wife
but
just
she-
wears the
she-
watches, and they're never set. And
But she
the
looks
Rolex is
at the
running.
watch for the time, so I need to set it. Anyhow,
Yeah.
and of course, when it's a quartz, then it's easy because she has 2 or 3 quartz watches, and then you don't have to worry about it. You just set the date right? Every few months.
Yeah, every few months.
But now that we have the cubitus, I just wanted to ask. Sorry, with the female watches, I think there is a point. If she doesn't have a husband to set the watches all the time, she probably couldn't care much to set the watch and would wear these mechanical watches way less because she has to set them, which is not fun for most ladies. They love the watches. She loves mechanical watches. She loves to see the movement. She loves really these kind of nice watches and mechanical watches and knowing that there is a movement inside. But I think she's setting it. It's just like, no, it's not something that
Not
she
worth
enjoys.
it. Yeah.
But
I don't know. My wife does the same thing. Once again, quartz watch works every single time. Apple Watch is always set. The Rolex is never set.
yeah. And then coming back to Patek Philippe and disappointments of Dubai Watch, not Dubai Watch Week, sorry, I'm always saying Dubai Watch Week, Watches and Wonders. When I looked at the new Cubitus at the smaller size, I was thinking, once it comes in smaller size, I will like it more. Now seeing it in photos, at least, I haven't seen it in person yet, I'm not so sure. I think it now looks like it is just too broad. Here, these elephant ears on the side are just too much. It just does look a bit disappointing.
It doesn't look good either way.
And
the round
again,
movement.
A
And the round
round movement in a square case. Come on. On the opposite, I think JLC, I mean, we said this in the last episode, they crushed it. And
They crushed it. I think they were the winners of
absolutely
Watches and
crushed it.
Wonders.
Yeah. They crushed it. So, what else was a disappointment for you of
I
Watches and
don't
Wonders?
know. I mean, I wouldn't say it's disappointing, but Tudor going bigger. Everyone is going smaller, and Tudor says, "Nah, hold my beer," and they make everything in 43 millimeters. That's ridiculous. Who? And then the funny thing is, if we think about it, people are saying that they're making these for the American market. This was pre.
That's what I said. Yeah.
But now with the giant tariffs, who knows who's going to buy these?
Yes.
So I don't know, but who needs a 43 mm?
Yeah, but see, they have in their press thing. This is the cool thing. They have said that actually. They have talked about this, and that's I think that's so cool about Tudor. They sometimes don't take themselves too serious. Tudor isn't afraid to go against the grain. It's been in the brand's DNA since the very beginning. Everyone knows the trend in modern watchmaking is to go smaller, but this time it's all about thinking big. And that means producing a larger black bay to round out the full array of case sizes for every wrist size. Now with the Black Bay 68, there's a Black Bay for everyone. See? They basically take it up. They take it on the chin, saying like, yeah, everybody's going smaller. We are going bigger because, hey, we go against the grain. Not bad. Why not? Doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
You don't need to like it.
There we go.
I do think that the black and blue is a bit of an odd combination. The black and silver is also something rather strange.
None
for
of
a
them
diving watch.
are but once again, if this was silver with a silver bezel, I'd say cool. If it was blue with a blue bezel, I'd say cool. But this mishmash, I just don't get.
Interesting. But I was looking at the IWC watches that were released, especially, of course, the Ingenieur. Did we talk about these? No, right?
Yeah, we did.
We did a bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
nothing special.
The chronograph is going to come. I'm telling you, there must be a chronograph coming because we already saw the perpetual calendar that a lot of actually reviewers thought, look at the chronograph. It's not a chronograph. It's a perpetual calendar, right?
Yes, correct. I don't know who said it was a chronograph. But...
So I think in a German-speaking podcast, somebody or YouTube video said, "Oh, no, the chronograph is bad."
The chronograph.
The chronograph. Yeah. So what I do like though is these smaller Lake Tahoe watch in white.
Smaller. What do you mean by smaller?
41.
It's
because
not
these
small.
Yeah, the Lake
That's
Tahoe
big.
usually is big. They have the
Yes,
big
but
pilots
41
and
is huge. I don't own a single.
for
one.
IWC. Then I was totally taken by surprise by this one. It's the Pilot's Watch Performance Chronograph Perpetual Calendar Digital Date Month. Because on the first glance, I thought it's a Citizen. You know, the Citizen Echo Drive Super Duper,
it
whatever.
does look very much like an Echo Drive.
It just looks like
or
one.
Pro
It looks like
Pro Drive or whatever they're called.
Pro Track, Pro Drive, Pro Flight. I have no idea. Something with Pro.
The fancy version of the Eco Drive.
And I thought, great. You spend $70,000, pounds, euros. Do you have a watch that looks
Like
across
a
the room
Citizen.
like a Citizen? Yes. But there we go. I think last year we saw such nice releases, but this year, well.
I think once again JLC killed it. That's enough for me. I think Tudor was interesting. Rolex,
Yeah.
I would. I don't hate most of the things, which I guess is something for me because I hate almost everything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy anything. Not one thing I would buy. This year.
I mean, from Rolex, I mean the Land
No,
Dweller.
from anything, from any
From
brand.
anything.
Nothing came out that said, "Oh, I have to have this." Obviously, this is within my budget, and I'm sure within other budgets, you're going to find something. You know, the guy that was going to buy the, the stone dial GMT, but that's obviously not going to be me. But in my price point that I usually, live in, this sub $10,000 price point, there was not a single watch that I was smitten by.
Yeah, I think the Land Dweller could be something not
It's
at the
twice
moment.
that price.
Yeah, it's 60,000 dirhams.
Yeah,
I
so
think.
almost 50% more than the price that I would be at.
I think there is a possibility of getting this watch eventually cheaper in a future iteration, because I think
Wait a tick. If it's the Land Dweller, then will that mean we're going to get something else that is land related, such as we originally planned a quartz version of this case?
I don't
Maybe,
know.
right? I mean, imagine that, because then the Land Dweller has to be an upgraded version of something, but maybe we haven't gotten the something yet.
True. You mean that like a Sky Dweller is an upgraded Datejust and a
Yes. So
Sea
this
Dweller
we
is an
don't have
upgraded
what this
sub?
is upgraded, because this is this fancy movement,
Interesting thought.
but we don't have the non-fancy movement.
Interesting
yet, right?
thought
So
there.
maybe this is going to be a quartz caliber of some sort.
Maybe, or we will get. Yeah, okay, maybe that's
plain
just a
movement.
variation of it. But if
Plain
we,
movement, closed case back, no fluted bezel, basic.
if we remove, for example, the date and the Cyclops, and
Yeah.
then make it a plain dial, not a fluted motif dial,
Mhm.
then you
and
have
take
already
the bezel away. Take the bezel as well.
the bezel,
Give me a smooth bezel.
smooth bezel. Okay, Well,
Yeah.
then you have a really like an very explorer-like watch.
Yeah, that would be cool. Imagine this with a black dial, Explorer with an integrated bracelet.
And then you could also make it, because it's basically the Milgauss, right? Because it's completely anti-magnetic, or the most anti-magnetic watch they probably ever made so far. You can call it the Milgauss.
Yeah.
You see
I
very
don't know
often that
if they're going to bring back the Milgauss name, because once again, Milgauss is still, 1,000 Gauss. So
that's true.
Mil has been passed a long, long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, every Tudor is now the Metas Tudors, and I guess the normal ones as well are 15,000 Gauss resistant.
And what's it called? Omega is made up to 150,000 Gauss.
Yeah.
So
but
Mil is not anything of importance.
I am still surprised about this geometry of elegance, the 1908, with that specific bracelet. I cannot get over the bracelet, that it's not integrated.
That it doesn't have end links.
That it doesn't have end links, and it has 7 links. That's also, it's called what? Set that has a name. They gave it a name, which is typical Rolex. Yeah, they did.
I know I said they did. Yeah, I just don't remember what
Settimo. It's a Settimo bracelet. Settimo.
There you go.
So it's 7-ish in some language, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Settimo bracelet. And it's not integrated. It is just slightly curved only, but there is a gap between the case and the
which
the
I always like.
It's classic, and I just didn't think that Rolex of all watchmakers would be going for the classic look, because they're usually just trying to make this you can never change that bracelet from your watch, and that's why we're making it very weirdly connect to the case. But that's cool. And also I like the hidden clasp that we have now in 2 models, the 1908 and the Land Dweller. We have now this Super Jubilee style hidden clasp. That's cool.
Isn't that somebody? That'd be a great Instagram name.
Super Jubilee.
Oh, yeah, who would have that?
Yes.
And the funny thing is, ever since this came out, everybody's been saying the word Super Jubilee. And
you have the
back in the day,
name.
Nobody said this. Right? It was such a weird thing to say. I want the Super Jubilee, date just. And now all of a sudden I'm hearing it everywhere. So I've had this name for like 5 years. And nobody cared back then.
Oh.
Yes. So now I'm popular. All my 200 followers.
Yeah. So I have one question. What did you think about the Zenith releases?
Zenith made some watches? I didn't realize.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit of that. Let me open this, because they have actually done something which I found super cool.
Okay, but after this we have to end, because it's
160 years.
Yeah,
it's 160 years anniversary, right? So they have actually spent some extra watches, and they're all blue.
And they made them blue.
And
oh,
blue.
yes, I did. I do remember this. Yeah, I saw the whatever this Zenith is on the side.
Yeah.
I really liked it. What is it called?
Lapis lazuli, I think it is.
No, but what is it called? As
Aventurine?
No, the GFJ.
Yeah, and that's from their founder, which is George Jacques something. I need to look it up.
How much is it? How much? You passed the price. Let's go back.
Yeah, because we want to pass
much.
the price. It's $50,000 or 200,000 dirhams.
Yeah. It's nice though. I like it.
However, look at this movement. It is 18,000 vibrations, very slow pocket movement. That's the movement that made Zenith win all the chronometer competitions. Mm-hmm. Very, very big balance wheel. It's huge, this balance wheel.
It is. It's half the size of the watch.
Slow. It has a 3-day power reserve, so it's decent. But they basically made it this watch, and it's in platinum, of course, 160 pieces. Yeah, it is just a very, very beautiful watch. 39 millimeters, so it's a very cool size. And of course, you have a very interesting dial. I mean, there's lapis lazuli, and then this sort of guilloche on the outer rings. It's a bit of an odd mix that you really have to love, but it's not easy to love. It's not a watch that you see in the first glance and say like, ooh, it's pretty, I think. It's some love on second sight.
I like it.
Yeah, so it's nice. And it's nice to see something like this. 39 millimeters.
Yeah, so it's a good size too.
It's a very good size. Exactly.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
That's why I think it's not some of this oversized rubbish that they sometimes have, right, with 45 and something like that. It's really good. So yeah, so that's that. But generally for Zenith, I think except making everything blue and ceramic, it was not the greatest of releases this year.
No.
Okay.
But who cares?
And on this photography
Terrible disappointment. It's time to end.
Yes.
I'll mark this one as a photography heavy special.
Yeah. But it was interesting. Sometimes it's important that we talk about these kind of related hobbies, because we will take pictures of our of our watches. By the way, Mahmoud contacted me, and that's the last thing I'm saying for now, because he spotted something on his Vacheron Constantin overseas while taking macro shots of his movement. And he asked me if my overseas has the same, little details on the rotor, and then I had to take macro shots of my watch to compare. And we figured out there's differences in the rotors. So his is a bit older, so he has a different finishing on a specific little part on the movement that are different than mine. So yeah, there we go.
Very riveting stuff.
That's how photography.
For all you Vacheron people out there.
And he said he didn't see it even with a loop. You don't see the difference, but on the macro shot you do, because sometimes
there
photos,
you have it.
Just things come out differently. Anyhow, on this.
All right,
really
now we gotta go.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.